Hi, we're the Ragamuffins. We're at Burn It Down Festival with Cartoonhead. How are you guys doing? You all right?
Yeah, well, good, man.
Awesome.
I'm not
one at a
used to
time.
this already.
Everyone gets 30 seconds to answer. It's our first time at Burn It Down Festival, but we already feel like it's a really great sort of sign of how strong the alternative scene is in the UK at the moment. How do you feel it helps bands like yourselves and the whole scene in general? And how important are these kind of festivals to you?
Yeah, they're super important, you know. Like, this is our first time here as well, and it's just so cool to see how busy it is, how many people are here, how many mates are here, you know, just talking to the bands and that. It's so important, just because there's like smaller bands and bigger bands playing. It helps everyone, you know, it brings everyone up. It's great.
I think it was like, it's really like we're still early on in the day now, and we just went up to the venue upstairs and we were like, oh my god, this is like packed out.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to see that support for alternative music. It's just incredible to like physically, because you see it online, but to see that with your eyes in person is just amazing to see. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it might be your first time at Burn It Down before, but Kieran, you've said you've been in Torquay before with a previous band, and it's almost a surprise you've been invited back. You've got a bit of an anecdote with the organiser of the festival.
Matty, so yeah, I was about to say what he was saying. I think it's cool to see how Matty a few years ago, he was like trying hard to get like Torquay on the map, putting like small shows on, and like he invited us to come and play. Like, weren't many people here, but like he wanted to have us on and that, and then we stayed at his house after, and then sadly I stood in dog shit on the outside, and then I dragged it around. So we were like, when we were like leaving, we were like running around trying to like clean all the carpet.
I was going to say, were you busted immediately, or were you like, we need to try and cover this up somehow?
I think this might be when he finds out, to be fair. I'm not sure if he...
Yeah, you tried your best to clean it up.
Yeah, I'll try it. I might get security in a minute coming and taking us out.
One thing we've been asking everyone this weekend, do you guys have any sort of pre-show rituals, anything you do to get yourselves ready before you go on stage?
We really should, but we don't.
Probably just a point.
I think like I don't like waiting a long time before we go on, so like I think today wasn't ideal, but the fact that we got here and then got straight on stage, like I didn't have any time to be nervous. But I think usually we like...
It's like it was planned almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we really have any ritual really, but I think a couple of beers for the confidence and then...
Yeah.
Awesome. One thing that is so striking about your band is sort of your visual like presentation across like your social media and your music videos as well. Sort of how important is that to you? And also, we got to talk about the video for Blonde as well, being shot in an IKEA. Talk to us about what that was like as well.
I think Zach does all the videography and photography, so I'll let you...
Take it away. Yeah, thanks by the way. That's nice. I think because we're very DIY, and our method is like make the absolute most of whatever we've got, basically, isn't it? Yeah. And yeah, that was summed up in the IKEA video, I think, because we were like, the thought process was, how can we get like a bunch of sets that look professional and, you know, like real places but for cheap. And then we had this light bulb moment where it was like, IKEA has that built in. So yeah, we just went there and shot it as best as we can to look like it was set, and then obviously that was the whole concept, wasn't it, to reveal it after.
Didn't you find like a sitcom that was shot in IKEA as well?
Yeah, I was doing some like research for it, thinking surely someone's done this before, and I found like a whole like comedy show was shot in IKEA, and like it to the point where like the staff didn't notice, and sometimes the staff would be in it without realising, sort of thing. Yeah, just an odd little like niche pocket of the internet I found.
Did anyone notice? Did anyone notice when you guys were filming?
I don't think so, actually. Did they? I think we got away with it pretty well, to be fair.
In the last bit, there's like a member of staff walks past, and it was like timed perfectly because like we were doing the last little bit, and then I saw staff, and then I stopped, and then they walked past, and then you were like, "Oh, keep that in." But I think it's quite nerve-wracking just sitting there and like families would walk past, and then you'd be singing, then you'd stop, and then you'd be like, and then try.
Yeah, it was worse for Key because, like, obviously he was on in front of the camera, we were just hiding away. So.
And he just looks like he's sat there, sort of just whispering to himself. People like.
Yeah, to everyone else, it was just a guy singing on a chair,
and we're just like, just do it again.
I think we need one more take. I think something I like about that video is like your purpose obviously was to make it seem like you don't notice it's an IKEA until sort of the reveal at the end. But if you watch it back again, you can then notice the labels and stuff in the background. I think that's my favourite thing, sort of
Little
rewatching
Easter
it. You've recently released a new single, Fresh Air. It seemed to go down really well at the set today. Can you just tell us a bit about the song? What does it mean to you? So what made you kind of write it? What's the inspiration behind it, kind of thing?
You want to talk about lyrics?
I don't know, lyrically, I think compared to our last EP, a lot of the songs were about like a breakup and kind of quite sad in that, but I think I was like, now I'm in a better place mentally and stuff, I was like, oh, I can't write songs about that anymore, cause like so then it was like trying to think about like more positive stuff that's happened really recently with like relationships and that, so it was like a bit different really.
A bit more positive.
What about in terms of guitars and that?
I think with the instruments, it sort of naturally lined up with a more positive sounding, like the chords and everything just had this like major feel to it.
Yeah.
And then
Quite bouncy.
yeah, quite a bouncy feel. I know we've done that before a little bit, but it's somehow lined up with Key wanting to do this more positive theme to the song as well. So it's, something just naturally happened where it just works. So we write the music first normally, and then Key comes in after and sort of like adds his thing to it, and then we'll change stuff based on that. Yeah, and with this one, it just sort of naturally fell this way, and yeah, some boppy happiness came out of it.
You released your EP in December last year. Can you, with almost a year sort of playing the songs live and sitting with the songs, can you just tell us a bit like the journey the EP's taken you on, and whether your relationship with the songs has changed perhaps since it was released?
Yeah, it's pretty wild because when we first started this band, it was like COVID was still kind of happening. Like, you know, we hadn't seen each other properly in a room together for like a year, 2 years, you know. And we kind of came into the practice the first time to play them, and we were like, I hope we can still play, like, you know. But yeah, I remember we played How You Leapt for the first time, and we were all really nervous about that one because it was so different to our old stuff. And we were like, oh shit, this is good, you know, we can play. Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah, we shocked ourselves because after being in lockdown so long, not playing, I don't think we couldn't play live properly. So we were like, we're going to have lost this or something, and then it just worked. But yeah, that was the practice that we played all the songs off the EP for the first time, and it just pumped us all up, I think, because we were working on it for so long behind the scenes that when we finally heard it together, because it was all, you know, obviously in a computer, and, you know, we were happy with it, but we hadn't heard it together. And that pumped us up to then, you know, start playing it live when we could. And yeah, since then, it's been a year, isn't it? Almost a year?
Yeah.
Something like that. And yeah, it's just like, it's been fun. And now I think we're excited to develop that even further from that sound and see what, we're kind of being a little bit more experimental and getting our sound a bit more solid. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey so far. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
Recording it all sort of through lockdown, is there any kind of worry that, although you like the songs yourselves, is there kind of that anxiety of releasing it into the world when everything opens up, playing them live, and like not getting the response that you want from the audience, I guess? Yeah,
I guess so. Like, but I feel like we've always kind of just wrote what we like, and then just kind of hope for the best after that. But you've just reminded me when we were recording it, we recorded it in like the cellar under a pub. Yeah. Like we recorded it all ourselves. And one of our friends worked in the pub, and he used to just come and sit in like while me and Zach were doing guitars and that. And we'd be like going over little things that, you know, didn't really make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. And we'd bring him in and have him listen and be like, does it matter? And he'd be like, no, or yes. You know, it's like, you know, is this good or not? And he'd be like, no. It's like, okay.
Yeah, we called him the humbler. Yeah. He'd come down and be like, is this one tiny little guitar note worth like 2 hours of your time? And we'd be like, yeah, probably not. You know? Yeah.
Well, that's a crucial part, to have someone in that process that can that's outside of your bubble as well, just to
especially
weigh
when
in.
we're producing it all ourselves, because you do get lost in every element of it because there's so much to think about. So it was good to just to take a break and then come back, because then we'd be like, oh yeah, that does sound like shit, or it does sound good, you know. So yeah, the breaks or someone else would definitely helped in that case. Yeah.
Sweet, awesome. One thing that we love to do on our podcast is recommend albums for people to listen to. So we just want to wrap up today by getting you all to recommend one album you think everyone at home should be checking out. It could be anything. Your favourite album, something new,
a
classic, whatever.
On these questions, have you got any?
Right.
I don't know. I don't really listen to much music I used to, but He's pretty a guy called Noah Khan. He's like kind of folky American guy.
He's kind of breaking out a bit at the moment.
Yeah.
it
So like,
seems.
I've been listening to him for like the last year, and his album's really good. But I think most people probably know it already. But I'll say that one because I can't think of anything else.
I'd probably say it's a bit out of like the alt scene and stuff, but an album called Malibu by Anderson .Paak, just top to bottom, it's incredible. It's like a soul funk hip hop sort of blend. Yeah, just an amazing album, top to bottom.
Do you want
do
some?
you want some mic? Yeah, I'll probably say Peripheral Vision by Turnover. But I always go back to that album. Really, I usually have like a few months, but I always go back to it. I just love it.
Yeah. I think my favourite album ever is Blink's self-titled album. I just front to back love it. Yeah, it's a wild album. But like more recently, I've been listening to Trophy Eye's new album and Spanish Love Song's new album as well.
Well, we think that Trophy Eyes album could be an album of the year contender.
Yeah,
It's
wicked,
definitely up
isn't
there
it?
for us.
Yeah, I love the last track, Epilogue or something. I think it's called. So good.
Awesome. Well, we've been the Ragamuffins. They've been Cartoonhead. Fresh Air is out now. Go and check it out.